Oh, well, today's turning out to be quite interesting. I've got the fixed window in on the other side, over there, got all that in. Thought, oh, I'll paint the top rail, painted it pickled. So I've had to strip it right back to bare metal. I'll get primed later on and paint it again. Then, because I was just painting it with rattle can, I've just knocked the fucking rattle can onto the floor, and it's just put a tiniest puncture in the bottom there. There you go. That's going to empty itself out. Brand new rattle can. Great. And then I thought, right, fuck that. I'm going to get this inlet manifold off, because I want to do the carbs on this because they're a mess. And would you believe someone has used a gasket sealant in between the tin gasket and the cylinder head. Sorry, the cylinder head and the inlet manifold, and it will not shift. I've had a jemmy on it. It will not shift. Fucking arsehole of a fucking... Don't do this, folks. Didn't fucking need it. There you go. Look at it. Gallons and gallons. The only good news is, look how clean this thing is inside. That is super clean, isn't it? So I really wanted to get the inlet manifold out to check out the condition of the camshaft. And as per usual, ham-fisted gibbons have made what should be ham-fisted gibbons. Ham-fisted gibbons have made what should be a half-hour job to be much longer. Right, managed it. Put a piece of wood here against the back of the water pump, and literally just braced and hung off a crowbar, and it shifted. Fucking why would you do that? Doesn't need it. What I tend to do, old baking tray, they are fabulous. They don't get any more useful. I think my father was chucking all these out because he decided that he wanted new baking trays. So, no, don't chuck them out, Father. I'll have them. Look at that. A mess-free environment to work in. Now, on these things here, what we basically need to do is we need to take off the throttle spindle. So I would start with the two throttle screws. These things tend to be sacrificial, but if they come out in one big chunk, then perfect. They normally will just undo. There's going to need a bigger screwdriver head than that. There we go. Just a wee bit of thread lock in there, and originally they would have been pinged over on the other side. Now I think someone has put new discs in this, because these discs, they just look too clean and nice. There we go. There's the other one. Out. Open the throttle, pull the disc out, push the entire shaft out of the carburetor. Deal with that later on. Again, we can see some fairly heavy wear on this. There's quite a big lip there. Massive lip. So that's no good. We'll pop the screws back in there just because I don't want to lose them. I know where they come from. So that's that. Now, it's quite a fuel smell kicking around here, so let's get the it's leaking out of the bottom of the adjuster. So we'll get the float chamber off next. And all of these screws clean up really nicely. So I'll reuse these. No need to buy packs of new screws. If the screws come out and they've not been massacred, then that's good. It's a good thing. Oh, God. I'll put all the spanners away. I'm going to go and get a spanner. Because when you undo these, because the jet goes through the bottom, this is why your some carburetors have the plastic bung that goes in the bottom. It's because the jet originally came out of the bottom. Right. Boom, boom, boom. What I'll do is when this comes off, I'll double check the float height. The float height in the other one was wrong. It's like 15 mil. So there would have been too much fuel in the carbs, so it would have potentially flooded. Right, next thing I do is take off the, what I might do is take the dash pot off so I can actually stand the carburetor upside down. Undo these, nice and loose. When you get these brass tags, copper tags, whatever they are, make sure you put them back on again. Even if they're tired, clean them up, put them back on. It just helps identify the carburetor. Oh, that's straight off. Right. Not looking too bad, actually. Right, let's put that down. Now, stand upside down now, you see. With me? Right, spanner. Take the whole jet out. Which is normally just a so let's just simply remove the jet. Oh, you fucker. That might be a bit too far, that. Let's see if we can get the float chamber off. Float chamber comes off because it's got a big O-ring underneath it. That's a float chamber. Those floats look way too low as well. There was a gasket. Looks all nice and clean in there though. So where's my ruler? There we are. And we have got I'm going to say that's 14 mil. Pretty sure there should be 16 to 17. So I'll take the float off because I don't want to damage that. Just lifts off. Need to get that jet out really. Might need to be something a bit longer than a. There we go. Just needs a bit of. Jet comes out. The jet comes in a number of parts. We'll tip it that way up. You have got the top part where the jet goes into, the actual jet itself, which is part of a serviceable part, that bit there. A big old spring on the base of it because the jet wants to basically go up like that, see? And then the adjuster, this is the adjuster. So what's interesting about this is this thing is wound right the fuck in. The adjuster literally is just a threaded rod with a big O clip on it, a big O-ring. There we are. That's the adjuster. Now that was wound all the way in, so we need to suss out that we haven't had some ham-fisted gibbonry going on in the jet, or whether it was just because the floats were set wrong, which is why the jet was right up. But that's the jet. We'll leave that there. Pretty much got a bare carburetor body now. We'll take off this throat. It should just come off. It should just simply come off in your hand. There's no need for that, Richard. Really, there's no need for that at all. Now these needle jets come out. Big fat washer on the bottom. Blow through it. Just check that it works. It does. Not too worried about these as long as they don't turn. If these turn, little olive on that might need replacing. Olive oil. Right, then we've got this blank plate on the end here. I'll take it off because it will help me when I blow through the carburetor. This is where the choke module would sit normally, but it doesn't on this carburetor because it ain't got one. He has got a choke. He's got a choke bypass, which is that fella there. So the choke on one carburetor on the other side will then feed fuel into that port there for cold starts. I call it a choke. Choke in the UK is for cold starts. Choke in America is that fucker there, the throttle butterfly, I believe. I don't know. But they also call back bottoms fannies, so I've got no idea. Right, that is just a big gasket there. Don't think I've ever seen one like that. Hopefully that comes in the kit. We'll take it off. I want to see what's underneath there. Curiosity and all that. And I'll try and keep it as intact as I can, because then I can cut a new one out of paper if I have to. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. Gasket, gasket, gasket. There we are. Undo the grub screw. All this needs a damn good clean. Grub screw comes out. Needle should then just pull out, and it does. Then I need to get my loop, loopy McLoop face, put the light on, glasses off. I can't see for shit, so I use one of these little fuckers, and that is a 2AQ, which is the same as the other side. I'll just double check the needle spec on that, make sure it's the right needle for the carburetor, for the Range Rover application. Pop that back in again. Now, the needle can actually go quite a long way in, but I think it probably wants to go flush. I don't know whether you push them right the way in. There's quite a big ridge on this. No, it's just a mark where it's been sitting in the is the needle serviceable? Yeah, I'd say the needle's good. If it's the right spec of needle, it's going back in. How far in the needle goes, I don't know. I shall consult. But what I'll do is I will pop it on the edge there. There's a danger if it's too far down, then I won't be able to get the mixture right. There we are, that's back in. That could probably just do with a light wipe over more than anything else. I don't want to do anything particularly nasty with it. It's all in really good shape. Happy enough with that. Yeah, so that can go straight into the pile to go back onto the refurbished carburetor. Right, springy McSpring face. It's important these things doing, go back in. Fucking wrong with you, Richard. Have we got the plunger on the bottom of this? We have. We've got the O-ring on the top. We've got the plunger on the bottom. Right, let's do this. Let's wipe the worst of the loose crap off the surface. Bit of degrease. Bit of agitation. See what it comes up like. Cloth, wipey, muck, white face. It's not bad, it's clean. Right, there's quite a lot of crap stuck in between the lettering there. The base could also do with a clean up where it meets. It's like someone's had a screwdriver in there, look. It's flat. Maybe it's just a casting issue. What I do now, tiny little wire brush, just clean up the mating faces. That's good. I'll give it all a damn good clean after, because obviously I've got steel wool out here and this stuff sheds particles everywhere. So before everything gets finally assembled, I want the environment not to necessarily be clinical, but to be steel wool free. That's good. That's good. For the outside, more often than not, just going over with steel wool makes a massive difference. See a shine coming through? Oh yes. Not into all this fucking chrome engine stuff. If you are, then, you know, good luck to you, but I'm not. I like an engine to be honest. It's a machine room. It's a machine. It's just wants to be clean and tidy. Clean and tidy, and you can see where the oil leaks and so forth are coming from. See how much crap has come off there. Now there's still little bits in here that I'm unhappy with, so now what I do is I get that little wire brush that I was using just now, which has been taken up. It will be right here on the bench. I'll be looking at it, I'll be saying, oh, there it is. There it is. Fucking knob. Now I'm not going berserk with this because it will scratch the aluminium, but just where the letters are, just cleaning around. And it gets all the ingrained crap out. British made. Back when we used to make stuff, we used to make lots of stuff. Just getting all the ingrained shit out from all of the crooks and nannies. That'll probably about do that, to be honest. Otherwise I'm going to end up overdoing it. It's a bit different, isn't it? What was that? A couple of minutes? Do it yourself. It really is not difficult. Like I say, the only thing you need to be careful of, if you are using steel wool, it will put little particles everywhere. So if I run my magnetic screwdriver over the top there, look, that's all the crap it picks up. Yeah. So you will need to be clean when it comes to assembling the carburetors and ready to go out, but it's very, very, very good at polishing a surface up, or cleaning a surface up rather than polishing it. But I'm happy with that. It will do the job. Serviceable. And then all I really do now is repeat. So let's agitate. And after just 5 minutes in the ultrasonic tank, where I took the opportunity to scoff my sandwich, it's come out. Yeah, that'll do. Happy with that. Just give it a quick wipe over because I don't want to keep any moisture against the surface, and I can reassemble it ready for the parts to go into it. Like I say, if I just left a big box of parts kicking around, and the chances are that it will come round to me reassembling, well, it won't with me, but you might come around to reassembling and then suddenly find, ah, shit, where did that little bit go? Put the butterfly in. Dimples on the right way round. Didn't half help, folks. Get the truffle butterflies in the right way round. It really does help. There we go. Done. Right, they can wait now. I'll order up the rebuild kit, gaskets and seals and so forth, and then that can be finished off. They can go back onto the manifolds and we'll set them up. How about that? I'll use a screwdriver just so I can flick up the edges of the gasket. It has been glued down. Excellent. Thank you so very fucking much. One must ask, why? I'm being very mindful of debris falling into cylinders here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Wank stains. These things normally just lift out. Fucking wankers. Never mind. Never mind. Does mean that I can't put this fucking gasket back into the valley. It'll have to be a towel or a blanket over the top of the engine until the new gasket arrives. Bastard. Wankers. Oh, fucker. I think, honestly, if you think that this is correct, because I've never done this on a Rover V8 engine, but if you think this is correct, please, comment down below and tell me why. Tell me why. Because I am keen to know. Do I need to put in a recall for all of those Rover V8s that I've done to get them back so I can glue the fucking inlet manifold gasket in? Because this is ludicrous. Never seen anything like it. Oh, you fucker. What a cunt. Right, really what I'm looking for here is a lobe. There's one there. This cam's fucked. This has got some serious age to it, this camshaft. So, sorry, rattle, 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 rattle. Let's get you here. What can you see? So I'll look at this lobe here, and you can see there that it's really shiny on the edges, and you can see where all the hardening has gone down. In fact, the lobe is flattening out. One over there is even worse. So I think we're looking at a new camshaft in this. So I'll take off this alternator, I'll take off the water pump, I'll take off the power steering pump, just stack them out of the way, and then the timing cover needs to come off the front. that adds some tension to it. Here comes the alternator. Right. Alternator and belt. Water pump's going to need to come. Water pump pulley's going to need to come off. Otherwise I won't be able to access the two long bolts behind it. That's weird. Can I access the bolts? With a spanner I can. I think I'm going to get it off rather than risk fucking it up. Right. Goes. Oh, fucking silicon fucking shit. Right, crank this thing over the top dead centre. So, looking for these two push rods here to be loose, or the rockers to be loose, and let's get the torch down here so I can actually see the markings. There we go. Go the right way, Richard. Before I might have to clean these markings up a little bit, they're all over the shop. But that is top dead centre because both these, I can rotate these two. I've got to put it into gear now because I want to undo the pulley bolt. I'm not going to get the windy gun out for because I can't be bothered to fire the compressor up. Just pop it into gear. Let's abuse the breaker bar. I don't know if that's undoing or not. It is now. There we go. God knows how many taps of force that was. Right, so that's off. Now, where is my top dead centre gone to? We're round over there, so it's going to be a case now of cranking it back. I held it at top dead centre. I'm doing the bolt. There we go. One starter dog out. Nicely done, Richard. The actual pulley should just slide off here. What I might do is go and get a lead light. There we go, straight off. No problems at all. And there's my mark there for top dead centre. And water can go over there now. Water can go there. And literally, I should find that this thing now comes off. There we go. A bit more water. And then the whole thing comes off. There we go. And then what we've got underneath here is the timing chain. I'm not worried about water going into the sump because it's going to get oil change anyway. This comes out ski. I can go over here ski. a bit more room now, isn't there? Put you down here. There, you can see a bit better now, can't you? Just gonna double check those drain cards because maybe they're bunged up. I could have sworn I opened them up though. Where's that bloody torch gone? That's more like it. Thing. Ah, fucking covered in that shit. Wanker. I don't think it was ever going to work. I don't know what it is. Where's the wing gone? I threw the wing over here. That was, so I turned that thinking, that's worked, and it hadn't at all. And it's all just, that's the base there. What basically should happen is you wind that and that comes away and allows the water to come out in a nice controlled fashion, but no chance. Seized up solid. Anyway, I really just want to undo this bolt without affecting the timing. I don't believe it moved. Now, if you're changing the, if you are changing the camshaft for a new one, which we are here, then you are going to need to buy a new bolt because the old bolt is an imperial bolt and the new camshafts are metric. I'll go over that as I put this thing back together again. Now, there's a dot on the bottom wheel and there's a line on the top wheel. There. Those two need to be in a line. So basically through the centre of that, dot, line, and then you know you've got the timing on the nail. Now what I tend to do is, because chain and gears are getting replaced anyway, it's just a case of levering things forwards. The whole thing needs to come off as one, so both gears and the chain need to come off as one unit. There, that's loose. That's coming loose. Pulling the fucking camshaft out with it. Oh, you bastard. I don't want you to pull the camshaft out, I want the camshaft to come out afterwards. Here it comes. Here it comes. And then crank. Gear. Cam gear, crank gear, cam gear. And then when it all comes apart, that's the dot, that's the line, okay? Not to be confused with that line. That's the wrong line. That marker there, that dot. Right, so that's timing gear off. Now what we're going to need to do is get all of the rocker gear out and the hydraulic tappets. Shoebox, marked up cylinders 8642, F on the front. Take the push rods out, and the hydraulic tappet just came straight out from underneath as well. I lifted the hydraulic tappet up as it came out and then just shut them in like this. And then we know that these are all going to go back in the correct location. With me? Now I've done that, let's balance it over here. Rocker shaft can go back on. Doesn't need to be anywhere exposed. Just put a couple of threads on there. Wipe your handsies. Rocker cover can go back. Right, same for the other side. Exactly the same. You don't need to watch. Right, lifting out the hydraulic tappets now. Generally, just use a little screwdriver underneath the foot of it and lift it up. And it should come right out, and I'll leave them balanced at the top there for each of the cylinders that they're in, because if this all comes apart and this camshaft isn't fucked, or if you're going to reuse them, then it just makes sense that they're all in their original locations. Now these are very easy to get out. This engine's obviously been well looked after as far as oil changes and so forth are concerned. Sometimes I find that there's a carbon kind of lip at the bottom of the hydraulic tappet, which means it's an absolute bastard to get out. We can now withdraw the camshaft. Now the camshaft, 5 bearings, biggest bearing, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5 bearings, biggest bearings at the front, smallest bearings at the back. So when you're pulling it out, you want to try and pull it out as parallel as you can. Otherwise what's going to end up happening is you'll bash the bearings. The bearings themselves are, they're machined in. I'm rather hoping that we're not going to need to fuck around with bearings themselves. I'm rather hoping that it will just come out, and there we are. Just get it, oh shit, just get it off the first bearing, so it's out of the back bearing, and then keep it level and withdraw the camshaft nicely. Bearings are all looking good, which is good news. Yeah, right, camshafts out.